Hello everyone, welcome once again to yet another interesting episode with your girl OJB Fashion Style. So in today's sewing tutorial video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I cut and stitch this beautiful flare dress. It's a 360 degrees flare with a basic sleeve pattern, okay? All I just did was to make pleats around the short sleeve area. So if it's your first time here, kindly subscribe, like the video, and you can leave us a comment below in the comment section. So without further ado, let's get started. So to start with, I'll be requiring about 4 yards or more. If it's going to be a very short one, 4 yards would do. Okay, but I usually wear a long gown, so I used about 5.5 yards to cut my flare. And what I'm doing now is simply making a fold. I'd cut out a piece and I'm folding it in a position where I can cut both the back and the front. So you can see the portion I'd left out there. That's going to be for our zipper area for the back. So the folded portion will be for the front side, okay? So we'll start our measurement from the very top there. Okay, so the first measurement I'll be taking now will be the neckline measurement, which is 4 inches into 5 inches. You could make yours 4, but I wanted mine to be 5. So I'll go ahead now and connect both points using my curve roll. Okay, so and then if I'm to cut this, I'll cut it into that portion for the zipper area. Then I went further to take the shoulder to shoulder measurement of 8 inches, which is what I'm doing now. Okay, and then you can see me taking a measurement there from the top. That will be our shoulder slope, so it's a 1-inch measurement, and then you can see me connecting it back into the neckline area. So after that measurement, I went ahead to take my bust point measurement. So that point, that indication I made now will be our bust point area, and I'm simply connecting it using my straight rule. So I'm drawing a line across it. That is our bust line area. So I went above that line by 2 inches. This is going to serve as our chest line measurement. Okay, so I'll also go ahead and draw a line across it as well. So from this line now, I'll be able to take my armhole measurement. So from the shoulder there, I'll be connecting it back into the chest line. So from the shoulder slope to the chest line is 8 inches, and then to the bust line is 10 inches. So I noticed the measurement wasn't complete, so I'm simply making a bit of adjustments now. Okay, so please take note of that. So to get our armhole depth, I'll be getting the midpoint from the shoulder slope to the chest line there, which is what I'm doing now, and I'll be making a point there. So I'll also be going in by 1/2 inch, okay, to enable me draft my curve properly. So on my chest line, I'll be taking my bust circumference measurement, which is 40 inches divided by 4 to give me 10. So that measurement is what I'm taking now, and then I'll simply be connecting from my shoulder slope to the measurement I just took. So I'm simply connecting all 3 points together, and then I'll now be adding an extra 1 inch on the side, okay, which will be serving as our seam allowance. You could add it while taking your measurement on your chest line, okay, it's optional. So on my waist point, which is what I'm taking now, please, I like to apologize, I'm very sorry. I didn't notice I wasn't recording properly at this point, and I had already cut my fabric, so I couldn't redo it. So for my waist measurement, it's 32 inches divided by 4 gave me 8, and then I added an extra 2 inch seam allowance to it, and I simply went ahead to cut out the excesses. Okay, so for this particular outfit I made, the back neckline was the same with the front neckline. Okay, so it's a bit wide. This was what I wanted. Okay, so you could make yours a little bit different. So now I have my fabric for both the front and the back neatly cut out, as you can see, and I had also gone ahead to cut out my lining piece. In my previous video, I showed us how to attach lining piece to actual fabric, so you could check them out. So you can see I've neatly attached my lining piece, and it's looking very beautiful both for the back and the front. So next, I'm going to be taking my dart measurement, okay? So you can see it's in a fold the way it was when I cut them. So my dart measurement is 4.5 inches. So you can see I'm making a notch there. I cut that for both the front and for the back, okay? So you see that point there? I'm going to be stitching my dart areas on them, okay? So ensure you do yours the same. So after I was done stitching my dart, this is what it now looks like, both for the front and the back, and I'm simply arranging my fabric now, the right sides facing each other, okay? And then I'll be stitching on the shoulders first, okay, as I'm indicating with my finger, and I'll also go ahead and stitch on both sides. So this is what it now looks like after I was done stitching. So I'm simply flipping it now to the right side, and then our top portion of our gown is almost ready. So I'll be setting this aside now to work on the flare portion. So I have my fabric already cut out. So as you can see, there's a portion where I attached more fabric, okay? So this fabric is in a square shape. It's actually 60 inches long and 60 inches wide. So that's why you see that I attached a fabric on the bottom there, so as to be able to cut my flare properly. Like I said, I wanted a long flare dress, okay? So if it's a short one, you do not need to attach extra fabric at the bottom of the main fabric, okay? So what I'm simply doing now is folding my fabric in four, okay? So if I count it, you will see that it's now in four. So after I'm done folding, we'll go ahead to cut our flare. So as you can see, I'm counting now. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So ensure yours is the same way. I have other videos where I showed how to cut a flare. So this particular flare we're cutting is a 360 degrees flare, okay? So first we'll be taking our radius measurement from this angle here. So I took a measurement of 4 inches, which I made adjustment to later on. So if you're to cut your flare, you could go with a smaller radius. So if it's not wide enough, you could cut by 1 inch extra or 2 inch extra, okay? So from the radius there, I'm taking a measurement of 25 inches, as this will be the full length of our flare, okay? So this measurement I'll be repeating all through around this fabric, as you see me do now, okay? So after I'm done making my points there with 25 inches measurement, I'll go ahead to connect all the points together. So after I was done drafting my flare pattern, I went ahead to cut it out, and then this is what it would now look like, okay? So this is our flare, neatly cut out and looking very beautiful already. So I'll be spreading it out now so you can see how wide it actually looks. And what I'll be doing is to cut out on one side of the flare. So for me, I'll be cutting through this portion, because this would be for the back of our gown because of the fabric attached underneath there. So next, we are going to be attaching our top to our flare, okay? So I've spread out my flare, and I'm simply going to be placing the top of our gown on the flare, the right sides facing each other, and I'll be stitching around that area where I'm indicating with my finger. So we'll be setting this aside now to work on our sleeve, okay? So for this particular outfit, it's actually a basic sleeve pattern. I'll just use my free hand to draft my pattern. And if you want a detailed tutorial video on how to draft a sleeve, I have a video where I shared detailed tutorials on measurements on how to draft a short sleeve and a long sleeve. So I'll be leaving the link below in the description box. So I'll go ahead now and cut out my sleeve pattern, and now you have it. So I'll be folding around the edges, okay, and I'll be going to my sewing machine to stitch through. So this I would also repeat for the other sleeve. So after I was done stitching, this is what it now looks like. Okay, so I have this piece of fabric that I had cut out before, which I'll be using to make pleats on this sleeve. So you can see I'm flipping the fabric over to the right side. Okay, so this side facing the camera is the wrong side. Please ensure you take note of that. And then I'm simply making pleats. It's a straight pattern. You can as well make your pleats around the curved edges, okay? But I wanted mine to be on a straight pattern, and this is what it now looks like after I was done stitching it, okay? So I simply flipped it over now to the right side, and as you can see, it's already looking beautiful. So if I fold my sleeve now, you can see I have my sleeve pattern neatly done. So this now I'll be attaching on my gown, okay? So guys, after I was done attaching my sleeve to my dress, this is what it looks like now. It's simple, it's basic, and it's beautiful. So the last and final thing we'll be doing is to close the back of this gown. So I'm simply just putting the two fabric together on both sides as you see me do now. So I would be stitching the down part of this gown while I leave the upper parts for my zipper. Okay, so from where I'm holding is where we'll be attaching my zipper. So from there upwards will be for the zipper, while downwards I'll be running my stitch all through. So we have come to the end of today's tutorial video. If you haven't subscribed, kindly hit the subscribe button, and I'll be seeing you on the next one.